preparation. I have been wanting to do this offline program since a very long time, but today finally we got the chance to do it. Ready, kids? Okay, let's begin with the program without any delays. First of all, a very warm welcome to everybody. I'm glad that you could make it even after so much traffic and everything. Few of the people are still coming, but we'll begin with our program for today. Okay, we'll be having the program in two sessions. First, they're going to have their performances on stage, and after that, we are going to have a short break. After the break, we are having some other presentations. So whoever have to change, they can change in the break time. Meanwhile, let them sit there till the performances are on. Okay? Alright. First, we'll start with the blessings of Lord Ganesha. So Ayushi will be presenting the Ganesha Pancharatna Stotra, authored by Sri Shankaracharya. Ayushi?
Namo Namaha. Shri Ganesh Pancharatna Stotra. मुदाकराक्तमोदकं सदा विमुक्तिसाधकं कलाधरावतंसकं विलासिलोकरक्षकम् अनायकैकनायकं विनाशिते भदैत्यकम् नताशुभाशुनाशकं नमामि तं विनायकम् न तेतरातिभीकरं न बोधितार्कभास्वरम् नमत्सुरानिर्जनं न बोधितार्कभास्वरं सुरेश्वरं निधीश्वरं गजेश्वरं गणेश्वरं महेश्वरं तमाश्रये परात्परं निरन्तरं समस्तलोकशङ्करं निरस्तदैत्यकुञ्जरम् दरेतरोदरं वरौ वरे भवक्त्रमक्षरं कृपाकरं क्षमाकरं मुदाकरं यशस्करं मनस्करं नमस्कृतां नमस्करोमि भास्वरम् अकिञ्चनार्तिमार्जनं चिरन्तनोक्तिभाजनं पुरारिपूर्वनन्दनं सुरारिगर्वचर्वणं प्रपञ्चनाशभीषणं धनञ्जयादिभूषणं कपोलदानवारणं भजे पुराणवारणं नितान्तकान्तदन्तकान्तिमन्तकान्तकात्मजम् अचिन्त्यरूपमन्तहीनमन्तराय गृन्तनं हृदन्तरे निरन्तरं वसन्तमेव योगिनां तमेकदन्तमेव तं विचिन्तयामि सन्ततम् इति श्रीशङ्कर भगवन्तः कृत्यो श्रीगणेशपञ्चरत्नस्तोत्र सम्पूर्णं धन्यवादाः.
After the Ganesh Vandana, before we begin with the presentations, the deity of the stage is considered to be Lord Nataraja. So before we begin with our stage presentations, be it dance, be it drama or singing, we'll first propitiate Lord Nataraja through a small dance which Aradhya will be presenting.
Satvik
Mangalacharan. Now we'll start with the Adi Kavya, that is Ramayanam. Ramayanam next. Before the performance, we'll also listen to the story of Ramayana. When we think of Sanskrit literature, the first thing that comes to our mind is the stories of Ramayana, Mahabharata, Gita, and Kalidasa, let's say. But beyond that, there are other things also which we'll be looking in the flow. But before that, let's start with the first Kavya that is known, that is the Adi Kavya Ramayana. Ramayana is in verse format, it is a poetic text. It is not a text which is written in story format. Most of us do not know that. So Ramayana has 24,000 verses. Let's understand the story of Ramayana as well. Why is it called the Adi Kavya? And then look at the presentations which are prepared by the very older actors, experienced actors. Yeah? Manasvi will give us the narration. We are not just having the drama, we are having a narrative drama wherein the narration will be given in the background and the kids will be performing along with that. Okay?
Ramayana is known as the Adi Kavya and its author Rishi Valmiki as the Adi Kavi. Before the creation of Ramayana, only the Vedas existed. The Vedas are not written by the humans but are given by the gods. Thus, Ramayana became the first human-made poetry in Sanskrit. The story of creation of Ramayana is mentioned in the Ramayana itself. Sage Valmiki was once going for his daily rituals to the river Tamasa. On the way, he saw a pair of croucher birds playing on the tree. But suddenly, a hunter shot the male bird and he fell dead on the ground. Looking at that, the female crouchie started crying. Maharshi Valmiki was very disturbed by this and he instantly cursed the hunter. Manishad Pratishtam Tamagama Shaswati Samaha Yat Kramchami Thunadekam Avadhi Kam Mohitam. Suddenly, he realized that the curse came out in the form of a verse, and that was the first composition of the Anushtuk meter after the Vedas. Later, Lord Brahma himself ordered sage Valmiki Rishe Rachaya Ramayanam and blessed him that his work will be remembered forever in this world till the time the rivers and mountains exist. Yavat sthasyanti girayas saritascha mahitale tavad ramayanakatha lokeshu prachirashyati. Following this, the sage started writing the epic Ramayana. It has 7 chapters: Balakanda, Ayodhya-kanda, Aranya-kanda, Kishkindha-kanda, Sundara-kanda, Yuddha-kanda, Uttara-kanda, and Uttara-kanda. Aranya-kanda narrates the story of the abduction of Sita. Once, when Ram, Lakshman, and Sita were outside the kuti in the Vanvas, Sita saw a golden deer. She wanted to have it, so she requested Ram. But suddenly, after some time, Lakshman and Sita heard the cry of Ram for help. Hearing this, Sita said, Lakshman could not leave Sita alone, but also had to help Ram. So he drew a boundary line around the kuti and asked Sita to not step out of it in any circumstance. He left. The deer The deer was actually a Rakshas sent by Ravan. Ravan took the form of a sage and came to Sita's kuti. He said loudly, Sita brings some fruits and offers it to Ravana. Ram and Lakshman come back but do not see Sita. Lakshman says that he does not know the armlets or earrings or bangles of Sita, but he knows her anklets very well as he bows down to her daily. Having found the ornaments of Sita, Ram and Lakshman followed the trail. They met Jatayu on their way, who narrated how Ravan had abducted Sita. Later, they met Hanuman on their way, who was the supreme devotee of Ram. Ram gives him his ring to show Sita. Hanuman flew from India to Lanka over to see and meet Sita in the Ashok Vati to give her Ram's message. He showed Ram's ring as a token of proof. Sita gives flowers from her head to Hanuman. Hanuman takes it and goes to Ravan's court. There he meets Ravan. Hanuman jumps everywhere and burns Lanka. The Vanar Sena builds the Setu on the sea and reach Lanka. Ram and his army reach Lanka. The war begins. Lakshman is shot by an arrow. Lakshman falls unconscious in the lap of Ram. Hanuman brings the Sanjeevani mountain. Ram feeds Lakshman some leaves from there. Lakshman is saved. War resumes. Vibhishan tells Ram that Ravan will only die if the arrow is shot in his navi. So Ram shoots the arrow in his navi and Ravan falls dead. सदा भवतु मे भो राम मामुद्धर.
I hope you all understood the story. The most difficult task to set up this was to convince them to act. First of all, Sita was not ready to come out of the kuti. When Ravan says that, please come, I am going, this is my apamanaha, gachhami aham, I'll leave. Then she was supposed to say, no, Bhagavan, bhiksham grunhatu, take the bhiksha, I'll come out and give it to you. But she was not ready to do that. She's like, no, he's Ravan, I should not be stepping out. I should not stop him, let him go. But that is something that she was not ready to do. Ram was not ready to scream Lakshmana, Lakshmana when he goes to shoot the harina, the deer, because he says it is the Rakshasa who shouts Lakshmana, Lakshmana. I am not supposed to shout that, I am not Rakshas. The Rakshas will shout it. I am not going to shout that. And of course, Hanuman, he was supposed to jump, but then the biggest task was first to explain him what is a drama. By mistake, I used the word a play, that we are going to do a play. The only concept of play that he has is we have to come and play. For 3 weeks, he was thinking that we are playing here. He did not understand that we are doing a drama. Later on, finally, when I understood that he thinks it is playing, then I stopped using the word play and started using the word drama. So that is when he finally understood that we have to act something. He has to be Hanuman and do that. Yeah. But after this Ramayana, let's continue with our program. After the stotra recitation, the dance and a performance, now we'll be having a song. That song which talks the greatness of the Sanskrit language. The language is, the song says that the language is beautiful and not at all difficult. It has the literature like Ramayana, Mahabharata and the classical literature written by Kalidasa. That song will be presented by Maitri.
नैव क्लिष्टा न च कठिना कवि कोकिल वाल्मीकि विरचिता रामायण रमणीय कथा अतीव सरला मधुर मंजुला नैव क्लिष्टा न च कठिना नैव क्लिष्टा न च कठिना व्यास विरचिता गणेश लिखिता महाभारते पुण्यकथा कौरव पांडव संकर मथिता नैव क्लिष्टा न च कठिना नैव क्लिष्टा न च कठिना कुरुक्षेत्र समरांगण गीता विश्ववंदिता भगवद्गीता अमृत मधुरा कर्म दीपिका नैव क्लिष्टा न च कठिना नैव क्लिष्टा न च कठिना कविकुल गुरु नवर सोमेशजा ऋतुरघुकुमार कविता विक्रम शाकुन्तल मालविका नैव क्लिष्टा न च कठिना नैव क्लिष्टा न च कठिना सुरस सुबोधा विश्वमनोज्ञा ललिता हृद्या रमणीया अमृतवाणी संस्कृत भाषा नैव क्लिष्टा न च कठिना नैव क्लिष्टा न च कठिना
has been waiting here. She just now told me that she also wants to say one prarthana. Come, Aradhya. This was not planned, but she wants to say one stotra.
वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा एकदन्तं शुभकर्णं गजवक्त्रं चतुर्भुजं पाशां सुन्दरं देवं ध्याये सिद्धिविनायकम्.
One more skit, which is based on one of the classical plays written, classical dramas written in Sanskrit. The first dramatist is known as Mahakavi Bhasa. One of his plays is Karnabharam. A small patch from Karnabhara is to be presented today by Riborna and Aditya. Aditya is playing the role of Karna and Riborna is acting Indra. There's a story in Mahabharata where Indra comes in a form of a disguise of a sage, and takes away the kavach and kundala that Karna has, which is a benefit to him. And if he fights the war with Arjuna with that, probably there is chance of Karna winning. So Indra, being the father of Arjun, he doesn't want to take any risk, and that is why he takes away the kavacha and kundala by coming to Karna in a disguise. Karna is known to be Danshura Karna. He is famous for his donations, and that is why he takes the benefit of that and comes to Karna at the time when he is donating and asks for the kavacha and kundala. Bhas has twisted this plot a little bit, making the storyline a little different. In original Mahabharata, the kavach kundala prasanga comes very before, like early in the time, but here it happens just before the war. So just before Karna is about to leave for the war, Indra comes there disguised as a sage and asks for his kavach kundalu. Another thing is, Indra is not asking it directly. He is just saying that I want something, a big donation. I just want a big donation. Karna is offering everything that he has. He first says, I'll give you a lot of cows. Then he says, I'll give you a lot of horses, elephants. I'll give you the whole earth. I'll give you a lot of gold. I'll give you swarga. But Indra doesn't know, as in the sage is saying no to everything. And finally, then when Karna is irritated, he says, I will give my head if you want that. He says, I don't want that also. What do I do with that? And later on, then he has nothing left to offer. Karna being Danashur, he has to give something. So then he finally says, there is only one option that I did not offer, and that is my kavacha kundala that I was born with. So if that pleases you, please have it. Of course, Indra got whatever he wanted, and that's when he says, of course, give it to me, and then leaves. This is a small patch from the play Karnabharam. Karnabhara originally is a drama with Karuna Rasa, meaning sorrow is the baseline to it. But this patch especially is a little light-hearted. But when you will watch them performing, it's not going to be sorrow definitely. It will have a tinge of comedy to it. Yes, so Aditya and reporter, come.
Anveekshaa yache.
नमस्ते आहूयतां स विप्रः न अहमेव आह्वयामि भगवन् इतः इतः नमस्करोमि
किन्तु खलु मया वक्तव्यं यदि दीर्घायुः भवेति वक्ष्ये दीर्घायुः भविष्यति यदि न वक्ष्ये मूढ इति मां परिभवति तस्मात् भयं परिहृत्य किन्तु खलु वक्ष्यामि भवतु दृष्टं भोः कर्णा सूर्य इव चन्द्र इव हिमवान् इव सागर इव तिष्ठतु ते यश
भगवन् किमिच्छसि किं मां ददामि वीतकनकशृङ्गं गोसहस्रं ददामि
गोसहस्रमिति मूर्तकं क्षीरं पिबामि नेच्छामि कर्ण नेच्छामि
किं नेच्छति भवान् अश्वानां सहस्रं ददामि
अश्व इति मूर्तकम् आरोहामि नेच्छामि कर्ण नेच्छामि
किं नेच्छति भवान् गजानां सहस्रं ददामि
गज इति मूर्तकम् आरोहामि नेच्छामि कर्ण नेच्छामि
श्रूयताम् अपर्याप्तं सुवर्णं ददामि। किं नेच्छति भवान्? पृथिव्या ददामि। तेन हि अग्निष्टोमफलं ददामि। तेन हि शिरः ददामि। न वेतव्यं प्रसीदतु भगवन्, अन्यदपि श्रूयताम्। अङ्गैः सायैव जलितं मम देहरक्षा, देवास्वैरपि न वेद्यमिदं सहस्रैः। देयं तथापि कवचं सकुण्डलाभ्यां प्रीत्या मया शिक्षाक्षयं गच्छति कालपर्यात् सुबद्धमूलानि पतन्ति पादपाः, जलं जलस्थानगतं च शुष्यति, उतं च रक्तं च तथैव तिष्ठति। तस्मात् गुह्यताम्।
That was a short play from Karnavaram. The next is a story that will be presented in front of you. The Sanskrit Sahitya has the mythological literature. Apart from that, we have a lot of classical literature, dramas, kavyas, but it also has a lot of story literature. The most famous text is Panchatantram, which is written in Sanskrit. It has all the animal stories. Most of you all must have heard of those stories and read those stories. Last year or a year before that, I got 2-3 reviews from few parents stating that we don't give our children Panchatantra to read. I was confused, why is it so? Because it is a children's text, it is supposed to be read by children, but they don't give it. So I was curious to know why is it so. Then they told me that Panchatantra stories are very violent. They have all the endings which are in which whatever the consequences, it is death. So if there is some small mistake made by somebody, the other person dies. It's an example of the story of a monkey who is kept as a bodyguard by the king. So there's a monkey bodyguard who is guarding the king. The king is sleeping in his apartment and the monkey is fanning him. There's a fly which comes constantly and sits on the king. The monkey wants to guard the king at that time and he shoos her away once, twice, thrice, but again the fly comes in and the monkey is very much irritated with that, and now he decides, how can you disturb my king like that? And so he takes out his talwar, the khadga, and decides to kill the fly. He hits the fly, but obviously the fly flies away and the king is dead. Now here, the only mistake that the king did was probably appointing the wrong person for the wrong job. But the monkey was loyal. He was not a bad person. Then why was the punishment so heavy? Why did the king have to face such a punishment? And probably that got me into thinking, why is Panchatantra having such violent ends, or why is it so serious if it is meant for children? And then I came across the story of Panchatantra. Why was Panchatantra written? Which is there in the first chapter of Panchatantra itself. The text Panchatantra was written to teach the 3 princes of the king Amar Shakti who were not ready to learn anything. The 3 princes were very mischievous. They did not want to study anything. They were not ready to go to school or learn from any guru for that matter. And king was very worried because he had the entire kingdom. But what is the use of such a kingdom if the princes are not trained? Because ultimately it is going to get to them. And if they are not unable to take care of the kingdom, it is going to go away. And that is when he found the Pandit called Vishnu Sharma, who taught the children. And the trick that he used was, instead of teaching them or preaching them with the rules, Vishnu Sharma built all these rules in the form of stories, wherein the characters were animals, but the principles that were taught, the morals that were taught, were meant for the kings, were meant for the administrative people, for the ministers to follow. And of course, when it comes to kings or officials, it is obvious that the king does not have a chance to make mistakes, because one mistake by the king is going to get repercussions not just on the king but on his subjects as well. So it is going to affect the lives of the people as well. And that is why the training that was given to these children was to not have the option of committing mistakes. It is not about whether you get a second chance or not. In life also, many a times it is not always guaranteed that we'll get a second chance. Some mistakes are such that we may get a second chance to rectify them and go ahead with it. Sometimes we may not. And probably I feel this kind of training we are not giving our students or our children in today's era. We are telling them that it's okay to make mistakes, which is true, of course. Nobody is going to hang us if we make mistakes. But that is not leading to the kind of perfection which probably our ancestors had for a very long period of time. The kind of literature that we have, the expertise that everybody display, that is possible only because they had that kind of training wherein they knew that anything that we do has to be perfect. Nowadays, even if it is a mistake, it is fine. And I feel that if today's kids are also taught Panchatantra the way those prints were taught, and if we train them with the same amount of perfection that is required, probably they will also learn to be better people and understand the problems well, and can deal with their own problems well if they have that kind of mental training. So that is why that story, which is presented in the Panchatantra itself, Ishwari will be presenting that story to us. The school campus that we are in, it is IES school. Every year, IES Sanskrit Kendra organizes storytelling competitions. The Rangani ma'am is here, who is the head of Sanskrit Kendra, who takes care of the whole Sanskrit Kendra of IES. This year, 3 students participated. Otherwise, there are many more students who participate. But this year, 3 students participated in the storytelling competition, and all the 3 bagged prizes. So, Ishwari bagged the 2nd prize for the same story from 8th standard. Now, who will be presenting the next story, bagged the 2nd prize from 3rd standard, and Manasvi bagged the consolation prize from 5th standard.
मम नाम ईश्वरी. अहम् 8मी कक्षायां पठामि. अद्य अहं पञ्चतन्त्रस्य कथां कथयामि. अस्ति दाक्षिणात्ये जनपदे महिलारोप्य नाम नगरम्. तत्र अमरशक्तिः नाम राजा राज्यं करोति स्म. सः राजा सकलकलासु पारङ्गतः, सर्वनृपैः वन्दितः च. तस्य 3 पुत्राः आसन्. वसुशक्तिः, उग्रशक्तिः, अनेकशक्तिः च इति. किन्तु ते सर्वे मूढाः, विवेकहीनाः च. न तेषां पठने रुचिः. अतः ते किमपि शास्त्रं न अधीतवन्तः. तान् शास्त्रविमुखान् स्वपुत्रान् दृष्ट्वा सः राजा अतीव चिन्ताकुलः. एकदा सः स्वस्य सचिवान् आहूय अवदत्, भोः, यूयं जानीथ एव यत् एते मम 3 अपि पुत्राः शास्त्रविमुखाः, विवेकरहिताः च. अतः यद्यपि मम राज्यं महदस्ति, तथापि सौख्यं न आवहति. कथम् एतेषां बुद्धिप्रबोधनं भवति? कथं वा एते शास्त्रान् पठन्ति? किं करणीयं? यूयं किमपि उपायं सूचयत इति. तदा सुमतिः नाम एकः सचिवः उद्धरत्, महाराज, उक्तं च, अनन्तपारं किल शब्दशास्त्रं, स्वल्पं तथायुर्बहवश्च विघ्नाः, सारं ततो ग्राह्यमवाप्स्य फल्गु, हंसैर्यथा क्षीरमिवाम्बुमथ्यात्. अतः एव एतेषां बुद्धिप्रबोधनार्थ संक्षेपमात्रं शास्त्रं चिन्तनीयम्. विष्णुशर्मा नाम एकः ब्राह्मणः अस्ति. सः सर्वशास्त्रकुशलः, छात्रेषु अपि प्रियः. तस्मै समर्पयतु एतान्. नूनं सः अचिरेण प्रबुद्धान् करिष्यति. तदाकर्ण्य सः राजा विष्णुशर्माणम् आहूय अवदत्, भो भगवन्, मम एतान् पुत्रान् अर्थशास्त्रकुशलान् कुरु. तदा अहं त्वां शासनशतेन योजयिष्यामि. विष्णुशर्मा अवदत्, हे राजन्, न अहं शासनशतेन अपि विद्याविक्रयं करोमि, किन्तु एतान् तव पुत्रान् मासशतकेन यदि नीतिनिपुणाः न करोमि, तर्हि स्वनाम त्यागं करोमि. अतः तस्य प्रतिज्ञा प्रमोदितः सः राजा सादरं स्वकुमारान् समर्पितवान्. तान् पाठयितुं विष्णुशर्मा पञ्चतन्त्राणि रचितवान्। मित्रभेदः, मित्रसम्प्राप्तिः, काकोलुकीयं, लब्धप्रणाशः, अपरीक्षितकारकम्। एतानि पञ्चतन्त्राणि पठित्वा ते राजपुत्राः मासशतकेनापि नीतिज्ञाः अभवन्। ततः प्रभृति एतत् पञ्चतन्त्रनाम नीतिशास्त्रं बालानाम् अवबोधनार्थ भूतले प्रवृत्तम्। उक्तं च अधीतेय इदं नित्यं नीतिशास्त्रं शृणोति च न पराभवमवाप्नोति शक्रादपि कदाचन। धन्यवादाः।
So this was the story from the Sanskrit literature. Not just the ancient stories, we have the modern stories also translated in Sanskrit. The famous characters of Akbar and Birbal, which are loved by all the children and all the adults as well. So one of the story which will be presented by Arnav next is of Akbar and Birbal. Their witty stories we all know. The story that he will be presenting today, in that once he gets late to the court and the king of course asks him the reason for why are you late. At that time Birbal tells him that my sons, they were annoying me and they were not letting me come to the office or my work. They did not let me come to the court and that's why I am late. The king said, what is it? No, sir, why is it such a big task to explain your children? Explaining the children is an easy task to do. It's an easy thing. Don't give me any lies. Birbal says, have you ever tried that? He says, of course, bring your children to me. I'll explain them. When Akbar says that, offers that, Birbal says that no need to bring the children. I will be your son and you become my father. Let's see if you can convince me. Let's see if Akbar is able to convince Birbal or rather the child. I don't know.
उपस्थिताः छात्राः च नमो नमः। मम नाम अर्णवः अमेयः फड्के। अद्य अहं बालानां नूतनं बलम् इति कथां कथयामि। अस्ति पुरा अक्बरः नाम नृपतिः। तस्य सभायां महाचतुरः वीरबलः नाम धर्मसचिवः आसीत्। वीरबलः प्रतिदिनं तस्य निश्चितसमये एव कार्यार्थम् आगच्छति स्म। किन्तु एकस्मिन् दिने सः विद्वान् विलम्बेन समायातः। विलम्बस्य कारणं राज्ञी पृष्टे सति सः अवदत्, किं कर्तव्यम्? अद्य मम पुत्रैः पणः कृतः यत् मया कार्यार्थं न एव गन्तव्यम् इति। बहुप्रयासेन तेषां सान्त्वनं कृत्वा यथाकथमपि अत्र आगतः। अतः विलम्बः। अतीव त्रस्तोऽहं बालानाम् एतादृशेन पणेन। निर्भरः अवदत्, किमर्थं न सत्यं भाषसे त्वं? बालानां सान्त्वनं नाम अतीव सुलभं कार्यं। किमत्र कष्टं, कप्रयासः? मा असत्यं भाषस्व, मा च एतादृशः कालापव्ययः कुरु, नैतदुचितं मन्ये। तच्छ्रुत्वा वीरबलः विहस्य अवदत्, भोः राजन्, बालान् ताडयित्वा तेभ्यः क्रुद्ध्वा वा तान् तूष्णीं कर्तुं न किमपि कष्टम्, किन्तु तेषां समीचीनं सान्त्वनं महत् दुष्करं खलु। नृपः कृतककोपेन तम् अवदत्, भोः मा वृथा असत्यं ब्रूहि। आनयतः बालकान् मत्सकाशं, पश्याम्यहं तेषां स्वाभाविकं पणम्। राजन्, बालैः किं प्रयोजनं? किञ्चित् कालपर्यन्तम् अहमेव सुतः भवामि भवतः। भवान् भवतु मम पिता। एवं भवतु इति नृपेण अनुज्ञातम्। तत्क्षणे एव वीरबलेन यथाकथं शिशुवत् आचरणम् आरब्धम्। ये सः सभाजनैः मध्ये उत्पतत्। तेन सर्वे सभ्याः अवमानिताः। अनन्तरं कस्यचित् सभासदस्य शिरस्कं अन्येन सः जिह्वादर्शनेन उपहसितवान्। एवं सः सर्वान् एव अपीडयत्। अन्ततो सः नृपस्य उत्सङ्गे उपविश्य तस्य श्मश्रुकेशान् अपाकर्षत्।
अभिजात त्वं तु बुद्धिमान् बालकः खलु मा ईदृशं मूर्खावताचर इति नृपतमवदत्। तत्क्षणे वीरबलः उच्चैः आक्रोशत्। नृपतमः पृच्छत्, रे बालक, किमर्थं रोदिषि त्वं? फलानि इच्छाम्यहम् इति उद्यतस्वरेण सः बालकः उदकरत्। तदा राजा तस्मै विविधानि फलानि दत्तवान्। तथापि बालकः तानि अपकृत्य उच्चैः अरोदत्। दुर्बोधः पृच्छत्, रे बालक, किं रोचते तुभ्यं? विशालः ईक्षुदण्डः प्रयच्छ मह्यम्। एवम् उक्ते बाले नृपः झटिति एव सेवकाय कथयित्वा एकं विशालम् ईक्षुदण्डं तं प्रायच्छत्। किन्तु तथापि सः अरोदत्। इदानीं कुपितः राजा न पृष्टवान्, इदानीं किमस्ति ते रोदनस्य कारणम्? मह्यं न रोचते एषः विशालः ईक्षुदण्डः, किञ्चित् स्वल्पं कृत्वा प्रयच्छतु। राजा तं ईक्षुदण्डस्य खण्डान् कृत्वा तं अयच्छत्। अवदत् च, इदानीम् एतान् स्वल्पान् ईक्षुदण्डान् स्वेच्छया भक्षय। तथापि बालकः न सन्तुष्टः। पुनः सः अवदत्, न मह्यं पूर्ववत् विशालः ईक्षुदण्डः एव ददातु। क्रुद्धः राजा अवदत्, हे बालक, न शक्यते एषः ईक्षुदण्डः पूर्ववत् कर्तुम्। वीरबलेन पुनः रोदनम् आरब्धम्। रोषितः नृपः तस्मै अपृच्छत्, अलं रोदनेन अलं तूष्णीभव। यदि त्वम् एवमेव रोदिषि तर्हि ताडयामि त्वाम्। तस्मिन्नेव समये वीरबलः सत्वरं उत्थाय गृहस्य राजानम् अवदत्, भोः राजन्, किं मन्यते इदानीं? बालानां सान्त्वनं सुकरं वा? राजा स्वस्य दोषयुक्तं मतम् अवगम्य स्मितं कृत्वा अवदत्, अयि वीरबल, सत्यं खलु वदसि, बालानां रोदनम् एव बलम्। धन्यवादाः।
We are going to see a song which is again a modern composition wherein the students will be narrating what they do in their complete day. How do they wake up? What else do? They go to school, they study. That song will be presented by 4 of our students, Shivansh, Ram, Manasi and Chaitra.
प्रभाते उत्तिष्ठ